You ever notice how some women walk into a room and men instantly shift, posture changes, eyes focus, energy tightens? It's not the outfit, it's not the makeup, and it's definitely not luck. It's behavior. It's the way she carries herself, the way she communicates, the way she handles pressure. Men don't just see her, they feel her. And the moment she shows these behaviors, everything changes. Respect rises, interest sharpens, presence deepens. These aren't games, and they're not tricks. These are real, grounded habits that make a woman unforgettable the second she steps into someone's life. Let's talk about them. The first thing most men notice, often without realizing it, is confidence. But I'm not talking about the loud, in-your-face kind of confidence, the type that tries to dominate a room or demand attention. No, the kind of confidence that truly makes a man stop and take notice is quiet, calm, and unshakable. It's the confidence that doesn't need validation, the confidence that doesn't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. When a woman carries herself this way, she naturally commands attention, and men can't help but be drawn to it. There's something magnetic about a presence that is comfortable in its own skin. It's a form of self-respect that says, I know my worth, and I don't need to convince you of it. Think about it. In a crowded room, there might be women laughing louder, dressing brighter, trying harder to get noticed. But the man's attention often drifts toward the woman who is simply at ease, observing, engaging without effort. She doesn't chase eyes, she doesn't push for approval, yet the way she moves, the way she holds herself, naturally attracts focus. Calm confidence is subtle, but it carries a weight that's impossible to ignore. It's in the way she listens without interrupting, the way she responds without over-explaining, and the way she walks as if she owns her space without demanding it. That combination of ease and assurance is rare, and men sense it instantly. They feel it even before they process it consciously. This kind of confidence also means she doesn't overcompensate. She doesn't feel the need to fill silences with chatter. She doesn't overshare personal details to be interesting. And she doesn't attach her value to how others perceive her. Men notice when a woman is comfortable being herself because it makes interactions real. There's no game, no hidden agenda, just authenticity, and authenticity is magnetic. When a woman is calm and grounded, her presence itself becomes enough. She doesn't need to scream for attention. Attention simply comes to her. And once it does, it's different from passing glances or fleeting curiosity. It's respect, it's intrigue, it's focus. What's even more powerful is that this calm confidence is consistent. It isn't a performance. It isn't tied to the right outfit or the right moment. It's a habit, a way of being that radiates stability. Men notice stability because it signals reliability and maturity. They sense that this woman is in control of her emotions, her actions, and her choices. There's a sense of safety in her presence. Not the boring kind of safety, but the kind that makes a man feel like he's meeting someone who knows herself and, in turn, respects him enough to engage with honesty. That's attention that lasts, attention that grows, attention that isn't fleeting. And here's the thing, calm confidence doesn't mean being passive or detached. It's about moving with intention, speaking with clarity, and acting from a place of inner strength rather than insecurity. It's in the way she chooses her words, the way she smiles without overdoing it, and the way she handles small social pressures without crumbling. A woman like this commands space effortlessly because she doesn't need to dominate it. She inhabits it fully. Men feel it in their core, and it's irresistible because it's rare. Most people are scrambling, trying to impress, trying to be noticed. But when a woman is centered and confident, she stands apart, and that difference is immediate and unforgettable. Calm confidence is not something you wear, it's something you carry. It's a presence that whispers rather than shouts, and men notice because they instinctively recognize strength when they see it. The woman who embodies this makes attention feel natural, not forced, and that kind of attention always matters. Communication is one of the most powerful tools a woman has, yet so often it's overlooked. Men notice immediately when a woman speaks with clarity and purpose because it signals that she values herself and her time. Clear communication isn't about talking the most or trying to impress with clever words. It's about saying what you mean, meaning what you say, and doing it with confidence. When a woman communicates this way, it's magnetic. Men pay attention because it's rare to encounter someone who can express herself without over-explaining, apologizing for her thoughts, or diluting her message to make others comfortable. There's a power in simplicity, in precision, and in confidence, and men sense it instantly. Think about it. How often have you noticed a woman who constantly qualifies her statements, who apologizes for sharing her opinion, or who trails off at the end of every sentence? It creates a sense of uncertainty, not just for her, but for the person she's speaking to. On the other hand, a woman who can speak clearly, directly, and without hesitation demonstrates that she's self-assured, grounded, and fully aware of her value. Men are drawn to this because clarity signals strength. It shows that she knows what she wants, she respects herself enough to speak her mind, and she respects others enough to be understandable. There's no confusion, no guessing games, just an authentic exchange of ideas that feels effortless and confident. It's also about timing and delivery. Men notice when a woman knows when to speak and when to listen. She doesn't feel the need to dominate every conversation, but when she speaks, her words carry weight. She doesn't interrupt to prove a point or compete for attention. Instead, she chooses her moments carefully. That kind of presence is magnetic. A man will lean in, listen closely, and remember what she says because it's deliberate and intentional. It shows thoughtfulness, intelligence, and emotional maturity, all qualities that command respect and attention. Another subtle but powerful aspect is her ability to stay composed while communicating. Men notice when a woman can express herself without letting emotions hijack her message. Even when she's passionate or discussing something important, she remains calm and measured. This balance between authenticity and composure is irresistible because it signals emotional intelligence. It tells a man that she can handle challenges, that she won't crumble under pressure, and that her words carry real meaning rather than being a reaction to insecurity or fear. And let's not forget the confidence that underpins clear communication. Men are drawn to women who can articulate their thoughts without second guessing themselves. When she doesn't apologize unnecessarily, when she doesn't hedge every statement with maybe or I think, it communicates inner strength. She isn't desperate for approval, nor is she afraid of disagreement. She stands in her truth, and that kind of presence is impossible to ignore. It commands attention without demanding it, and men notice because it's rare to see. Finally, clear communication builds connection. Men pay attention when a woman speaks in a way that feels real, accessible, and confident. It allows them to engage without confusion, to respect her perspective, and to feel intrigued rather than overwhelmed. Men are wired to respond to authenticity and clarity, and when a woman masters this skill, she becomes unforgettable in their eyes. Her words, her pauses, her delivery, all of it works together to create presence. And presence, as we've already seen, is magnetic. Clear, confident communication is not just a behavior, it's a way of being. When a woman speaks this way, she doesn't need to perform or force attraction. The attention comes naturally. It's honest, effortless, and powerful, and that's why men notice immediately. One of the most overlooked yet deeply magnetic behaviors a woman can display is the way she sets boundaries. Now, I'm not talking about making a scene, arguing over every little thing, or using rules to control others. I'm talking about quietly, firmly, and consistently defining what is acceptable and what is not, and doing it without drama. There's a power in this kind of self-respect that men notice immediately, often before they even consciously register it. When a woman sets boundaries with calm certainty, she communicates something very clear. She knows her value, she knows her standards, and she isn't willing to compromise herself to fit someone else's expectations. That kind of clarity is magnetic because it signals strength, integrity, and independence all at once. Think about it. Most people tolerate a lot of chaos, push, or uncertainty in their relationships, either because they don't want conflict or because they're unsure of their own limits. But when a woman knows herself and communicates her boundaries without creating a scene, it creates a different kind of energy. Men notice because it's rare, it's refreshing, and it commands respect. There's no question about where she stands. There's no guesswork. You know she's someone who will stand by her values, and that certainty is compelling. It's not about controlling anyone. It's about controlling her own life, her own choices, and her own peace, and men are instinctively drawn to that level of self-possession. Boundaries also show a deep understanding of emotional intelligence. Men notice when a woman can assert herself without escalating tension or inviting conflict unnecessarily. She doesn't need to raise her voice or threaten consequences. Her consistency, her calmness, and her decisiveness are enough. When she says no, or chooses to walk away from something that doesn't align with her standards, she's not punishing anyone. She's protecting herself. And men sense that this is a woman who is grounded, secure, and unshakable. That stability is attractive because it makes her predictable in a way that matters. She's predictable in her integrity, not in her availability. What makes this behavior even more magnetic is the combination of firmness and grace. A woman who sets boundaries gracefully doesn't need to be harsh, defensive, or rigid. She communicates with respect, with clarity, and with understanding, and yet she never wavers in her standards. That balance, strength without aggression, self-respect without arrogance, is what draws attention. Men instinctively recognize the value in someone who can navigate life with that kind of wisdom. They see a woman who is capable of taking care of herself, someone whose presence doesn't feel like chaos or compromise. That energy makes them pause, notice, and ultimately appreciate her more deeply. Boundaries also communicate self-worth in ways words cannot. They tell a man that she is aware of her own value, that she refuses to settle for less than she deserves, and that she won't allow anyone to treat her as if her standards are negotiable. That level of respect for oneself is magnetic because it's rare. Most people compromise constantly, bend to the demands of others, or blur the lines between what's theirs and what isn't. But a woman who knows where she ends and where someone else begins commands attention immediately. She doesn't chase respect, she demands it simply by being clear about who she is and what she will accept. The beauty of this behavior is that it doesn't require words or explanations. It's not about controlling someone else's behavior, it's about controlling your own, and that self-control is captivating. Men notice because it signals strength, independence, and emotional maturity. It makes them take you seriously, it makes them listen, and it makes them pay attention in a way that fleeting gestures or superficial charm never could. Setting boundaries isn't just a skill, it's a statement about who you are, what you value, and how you allow the world to interact with you. And when a woman does it with calm authority, men notice immediately. One of the most magnetic behaviors a woman can display is having a life that doesn't revolve around anyone else. It's simple, but most people underestimate just how powerful it is. Men notice it instantly when a woman has purpose, passion, and routines that are hers alone. She has friends she values, hobbies she loves, goals she pursues, and responsibilities she honors. She isn't waiting for someone else to fill her days, to define her happiness, or to give her validation. And that independence, genuine, grounded independence, is magnetic. It makes a man pay attention because it signals that she's fulfilled on her own, that she knows her worth, and that any connection he has with her will be additive, not essential. Think about it. Many people enter relationships expecting someone else to complete them, to be the source of excitement, meaning, or identity. But a woman who already has a rich, full life brings something entirely different to the table. She's not needy. She's not searching for validation. She's fully herself, and that alone makes her captivating. Men notice because it's rare. They sense a woman who has purpose because she moves with direction, with intention, and with energy that isn't dependent on their attention. She doesn't have to beg for it or chase it. It comes naturally. This behavior also communicates strength. When a woman prioritizes her own life, she demonstrates self-respect. She signals that her time, energy, and attention are valuable and that they're not given lightly. Men notice this immediately because it challenges the common patterns they're used to. Women who are available at every moment, women who rearrange their lives to accommodate others. A woman who lives on her own terms flips that script, and it sparks curiosity and admiration. He sees a woman who is intentional, and intention is magnetic. Having a life of your own also makes interactions richer. When a woman has experiences, passions, and goals outside of the relationship, she brings stories, insights, and energy into the connection that are genuine and compelling. Men notice this because conversations with her are never dull. She has perspective, she has depth, she has independence that makes the time spent together feel exciting rather than obligatory. Her presence carries weight because she isn't defined by the relationship. She defines her own existence, and that authenticity is irresistible. Another critical aspect is the confidence that naturally flows from living a full life. A woman who isn't constantly seeking approval or waiting to be entertained by someone else radiates calm assurance. She is content, self-assured, and at ease, and that energy is contagious. Men notice this because it makes them want to match that energy to rise to her level rather than drag her down. She inspires attention simply by being engaged with her life, and in doing so, she commands respect without ever demanding it. Importantly, this doesn't mean she is emotionally unavailable or detached. It means she chooses where to invest her energy wisely. She is selective, intentional, and aware that her life is valuable, and that time spent with someone should enhance it, not distract from it. Men notice because this balance between independence and connection is rare and compelling. It signals maturity, wisdom, and self-control, all qualities that create lasting attraction and respect. A woman who has a life that doesn't revolve around a man also communicates freedom and self-sufficiency. She isn't waiting for someone else to make her feel complete. She's already complete, and that completeness is magnetic. Men notice because it challenges them in the right way. It makes them see her as someone worth pursuing, not someone who will chase after them. It makes them pay attention because it signals that any relationship with her is a partnership of equals, not a one-sided dynamic. Living fully on your own terms isn't just attractive, it's empowering. When a woman demonstrates this, men notice immediately. They notice the energy, the confidence, and the presence. And they know that being in her life is a privilege, not a given. One of the most powerful ways a woman captures attention is by staying graceful under pressure. Life throws challenges at everyone, and the way she responds speaks volumes about her character. Men notice immediately when a woman can handle tension, stress, or conflict without losing her composure. It's not about being perfect, and it's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about how she carries herself in the middle of chaos, how she responds when things don't go her way, and how she maintains a sense of calm that commands respect. There's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't overreact, and who can navigate life's difficulties with dignity and poise. Think about it. Most people react emotionally, impulsively, or defensively when life challenges them. But a woman who stays composed communicates strength and emotional intelligence without saying a word. Men notice because it's rare. They see someone who is grounded, who doesn't allow circumstances to dictate her mood or her value. When she stays calm, she creates an energy that others naturally gravitate toward. It's reassuring, magnetic, and undeniably attractive. Men feel it even before they consciously realize it, because emotional stability is something everyone instinctively respects. Grace under pressure is also about self-control. It's about understanding that the way she reacts defines her more than the challenge itself. She doesn't let frustration, anger, or fear dictate her behavior. Instead, she assesses the situation, responds thoughtfully, and maintains her dignity. Men notice this because it signals maturity and resilience. She becomes someone they can trust, someone they want to be around, and someone whose energy elevates a room rather than drains it. There's an undeniable draw to that kind of presence, because it's rare to encounter someone who can balance strength and composure so effortlessly. Another subtle but powerful aspect is that staying graceful under pressure shows confidence. When a woman doesn't panic or overcompensate, it communicates that she trusts herself. She knows she can handle challenges, navigate conflicts, and maintain her equilibrium no matter what happens. Men notice this because it conveys independence and capability. She's not reliant on anyone else to solve her problems or soothe her emotions. That self-reliance, combined with calm composure, makes her presence magnetic. It tells a man that she's someone who won't crumble under life's pressures, someone he can respect, and someone he will remember long after the moment passes. Grace under pressure also strengthens her aura of authenticity. Men notice when a woman doesn't perform for approval or manipulate situations to look perfect. Instead, she stays true to herself, handles obstacles with integrity, and models the behavior of someone who is confident in her abilities. This honesty in how she responds to challenges makes her magnetic because it's real. There's no mask, no pretense. Just a woman who knows who she is and handles life on her terms. That authenticity is incredibly attractive. What's more, staying composed under stress often inspires those around her. Men notice because her calm energy elevates the interaction. She doesn't create unnecessary tension or drama. She's not reactive, and she's not swept away by emotion. Instead, she brings clarity, focus, and steadiness, which makes her presence not just noticed, but valued. That kind of behavior builds deep respect, and respect is what keeps attention sustained over time. Remaining graceful under pressure isn't just a skill, it's a habit, a way of being that communicates strength, confidence, and emotional maturity without a single word. Men notice it immediately because it signals a woman who can handle life with poise, who won't be shaken by temporary storms, and who carries herself with unwavering dignity. One of the most magnetic behaviors a woman can display is the way she chooses herself instead of forcing connection. This is subtle, but men notice it instantly. It's not about being cold or indifferent, it's about having self-respect and clarity about what she will accept in her life. A woman who knows her worth, who doesn't settle for less than she deserves, and who isn't afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't align with her values, automatically commands attention. There's a kind of power in that. Men sense it because it's rare and it's authentic. It signals strength, independence, and emotional intelligence, all qualities that are immediately magnetic. Think about it. Many women make the mistake of adjusting themselves, lowering their standards, or chasing someone else's approval just to keep a connection alive. They overcompensate, over-apologize, or overextend themselves, hoping to hold attention through need rather than presence. But a woman who chooses herself doesn't do any of that. She understands that forcing connection only diminishes her value and undermines her confidence. Men notice the difference immediately. They feel the energy of someone who stands firm in her truth, someone who isn't desperate, someone whose life isn't dictated by someone else's attention. That difference is compelling because it's powerful and rare. Choosing herself also communicates clarity. Men notice when a woman has boundaries around her time, her energy, and her emotions. She doesn't say yes just because she feels obligated. She doesn't sacrifice her peace for approval. Instead, she makes deliberate choices that honor her standards and her worth. That clarity signals confidence, and confidence is magnetic. When a man sees that she prioritizes herself, he realizes that her attention isn't given lightly, it's earned. That makes him value it more because it's not automatic, it's deliberate. There's also an emotional depth to this behavior. Men notice when a woman can detach from what doesn't serve her without bitterness, resentment, or drama. She doesn't lash out. She doesn't sulk. She doesn't plead or manipulate. She simply steps back or moves forward in a way that protects her integrity. That emotional maturity creates a presence that men are naturally drawn to. It communicates self-respect, stability, and intelligence. A woman who can make tough decisions about her life without chaos or insecurity radiates strength, and strength always gets noticed. Choosing herself also inspires respect. Men recognize that she's not going to tolerate nonsense, compromise her values, or settle for less than she deserves. That kind of self-respect is magnetic because it flips the dynamic in a way that few people experience. She doesn't need to beg, she doesn't need to chase, and she doesn't need to compromise her essence for attention. Men notice this immediately, often subconsciously. They respect it, they admire it, and they pay attention because it signals that she's a woman of substance, someone whose life, energy, and presence are valuable and meaningful. And here's the critical part: choosing herself doesn't push people away, it attracts the right people. When a woman is clear about her standards, her needs, and her worth, she naturally draws those who are capable of meeting her there. Men are drawn to someone who won't settle for less than they deserve because it challenges them to rise to the occasion. That attention isn't superficial, it's genuine, lasting, and rooted in mutual respect. Choosing herself is a quiet form of power. It doesn't scream for attention, but attention comes naturally. It signals independence, strength, clarity, and emotional intelligence all at once. Men notice it immediately because it's authentic, rare, and compelling. A woman who embodies this doesn't have to perform, chase, or manipulate. Her presence commands attention simply because she values herself enough to stand firm in her truth.